Good morning. Welcome to Sunday. Nice to be here with y'all again. Um, Last week, the Facebook and YouTube feeds did not work for some reason. The camera couldn't do all of it. This week, it seems to be working. So, welcome back to anybody who's with us on Facebook and YouTube. Hopefully, it'll last for the entire session. Greetings to the people I can see on Zoom, and greetings to the people I cannot see on Facebook and YouTube. Happy to have you here. Um, Last week, I was talking about loving all aspects of yourself, even the difficult parts during difficult feelings. And today, I'm going to talk a little more about that with basically a mindfulness based method of being with difficult feelings. And I've talked about this before, but I think it's something that bears review because it's a really useful way to meet challenging experiences mindfully. So, first, let's meditate. I invite you to find a comfortable meditation posture. And if you're sitting, that would be in a posture in which your back is straight, but not like rigid. You're not tensing the muscles in your back, just upright, your back in its natural curve, but relaxed. And if there's a little string at the crown of your head, just be tugging your up just a little bit and tucks your chin in without stressing the muscles in your shoulders and neck. If you're standing, it's another meditation posture with your feet flat on the floor and your knees slightly bent and just letting your body relax into your torso. Some people have asked me about meditating lying down because they have back issues. If you're going to do that, just rest one arm on the floor or whatever you're laying on with your hand in the air with your arm at a 90-degree angle. That way, if you fall asleep, your hand will come down and you'll wake up. Falling asleep while meditating is not a big deal. People do it all the time. My big fear on meditation retreats is that I would be the guy snoring in the room or fall asleep and lean over on the guy next to me. Anyway, so I invite you into your meditation posture. And when we come into a meditation posture with some intentionality, that's a signal from our psyche to our psyche and to our bodies that we are entering into something other than what was just before. So I invite you to just lower your gaze down the bridge of your nose, and that will relax the muscles around your eyes. And gently close your eyes. And let's start with a few slow, deep breaths, about 3/4 into your belly. Just to get connected to the body and the breathing. Long, slow in-breath. And maybe hold it for just a split second. And on the out-breath, just begin the process of relaxing and softening. Receiving the in-breath The out breath, relaxing the muscles around your eyes and just letting your eyes roll in their sockets. Relaxing the muscles in your face, which usually do a lot of work. You might want to let your jaw drop just a little to loosen those muscles, unclench your teeth, bring your lips slightly back together again. And as you exhale, continue relaxing your shoulders, the muscles in your neck to whatever degree you can. And letting your breathing return to normal. And as you continue to breathe on the out breath, just continue relaxing the muscles in your shoulders, the muscles in your chest. Receiving the in breath, letting go on the out breath, and relaxing the muscles in your belly. We often hold a tight belly, but we're not doing that here. Just relax your belly and just let it hang. It's okay. Continuing to relax and soften your thighs and your legs. To whatever degree you can. There's no way to do this wrong. The doing it is the doing. I invite you to notice the sensations of your feet or your legs on the floor and what that contact feels like. Just to help come into the body in the present moment. Noticing the sensations of your hands resting in your lap. Noticing how that feels in your hands. Noticing how that feels on your legs. Noticing the ambient temperature of the room and what that feels like on your skin. Now notice the sensations of the body breathing in and out. And just focus your attention, rest your awareness on the sensations of the body breathing. Some people do this by focusing on the sensations of the air moving out of your nose, between your nose and your upper lip. Some people focus on the chest or the belly moving up and down. And some people focus on the global sensation of the body breathing in and out. We're not trying to do anything with the breath. We're not trying to breathe shorter or longer or deeper. Just following the rhythm of the breathing, the simplicity of breathing in and out in this moment. And when your mind wanders off in thought, which it will, it's the function of the mind to think, like it's the function of the heart to beat. It's okay. When you notice, you might just say to yourself, all good. And then bring your attention gently, slide your attention back to the sensations of the body breathing. Following the breath all the way in and all the way out. Noticing the sensations as your body inhales. Noticing the sensations at the top of the inhale as your body transitions to an out breath. And then riding your awareness of the out breath all the way down to the end. Noticing the sensations as your body transitions to an in breath. And just staying within the rhythm of the breathing in and out. And when your mind wanders again, not if, but when, as many times as it does, as many times as you need to, just gently, without reproach, slide your attention back to your awareness of breathing. Your mind wanders off in thought, thoughts arise, feelings arise. Just recognize and accept this experience. Just notice it without getting involved in the content, whatever thought arises moment to moment. And just bring your attention back to your breathing. Thoughts arise, sensations arise. Just returning our attention to the simplicity of breathing in and out in this moment. And as we come towards the end of this sitting, I invite you to recognize whatever your experience is at the moment and accept whatever that is. And just notice with curiosity whatever you're feeling and experiencing right now. And offer yourself compassion for whatever needs compassion in your life. May the benefits of this practice enable you to move through the world with kindness and compassion, to view the world through kind eyes, and to take care of yourself compassionately, have care for the welfare and well-being of others. May the benefits of this practice be a benefit to all beings everywhere. May all beings be happy. May all beings be well. May all beings be safe. May all beings be at ease and at peace. Thank you for your practice, and welcome again. As usual, I put the usual information in the chat. Information on how to find these sessions every Sunday. My website, information on how to reach me. If you feel so inclined, if you have any questions about meditation or you just want to talk, I'm available. My email address, and also there's a link for donation if you feel so inclined. There's no requirement. This is not a request, just if you feel like it. So today, we're going to talk about mindfully being with whatever your experience is, even if it's difficult. And there's a method for that I've learned. And I've talked about it before, but not for quite some time. And the acronym is RAIN practice, which stands for recognize, accept, investigate, and nurture. Recognize, accept, investigate, and nurture. Whatever experience we're having, say we're having anxiety, sadness, joy, whatever, we tend to cling to or reject whatever it is based on whether or not we like it. Which kind of leaves us in this sort of like ping-ponging back and forth experience of our experience. And it's very unsettling. And as I've talked about before, our experience is in two parts. And if we're having a difficult experience, it's the tendency, at least in this culture, to say, no, I don't want that. I don't want the sadness. I don't want the grief. I don't want the anxiety. I don't want the anger. I don't want whatever it is. Which adds a whole other layer of suffering onto whatever is difficult. And then if we're experiencing joy or happiness or whatever, on the other end of the spectrum, we cling to that. And because all things are impermanent, especially states of mind, when that starts to fade, we feel bad. And then when we reject that, okay, it just becomes this thing that goes on and on. And last week I was talking about accepting and nurturing all parts of ourselves and all parts of our experience. So, Rain suggests a way to do that without getting caught in the trap of attachment and aversion, and the sort of yo-yo, this would be a yo-yo, pendulum experience. So first, say I'm feeling frustrated. I was just on the other side of Florida. I'm a Mets fan. I've been a Mets fan all my life. That's how I know how to suffer. Um, Drove across the state with my brother and my oldest friend, who I've known since I was 14, to see two Mets games in spring training this past week. They lost both. That's how you know you're at a Mets game. Well, that was frustrating, especially the inning that went on forever, where the last place team scored 7 runs against them in 1 inning. So, what is my experience of that? I feel frustrated. I'm exaggerating this because I'm not really that attached to baseball. I mean, I am, but I'm not. So I'm recognizing that, okay, this is frustration. Instead of saying, I don't want that, I mean, it's a beautiful day, we're out in the sun, blah, blah, blah. Just accept that. Accept that I'm having whatever experience that I'm having in the moment. So R for recognize, A for accept, and I for investigate. What does that feel like? What do I notice in my body? Where do I feel myself getting tense? Feelings are always a physical sensation, and then we put a label on it, and now it's emotion. But it starts with feeling something. When I'm feeling anger, it's like really like up on the top of my shoulders, and it's like my shoulders are trying to fold my body in half. Some like defensive thing. If I'm feeling sadness, it's usually right here and right here. Sometimes in my belly. If I'm feeling impatient or frustrated, it's kind of like there's like somebody pulling at me right here. Right? It's different for different people. But I want to start by just recognizing that I'm having this experience and then accept it, even if it's difficult, especially if it's difficult. Because when I start going to this is wrong or I'm doing it wrong, that's another layer of tension. And I don't deserve that, and neither do you. I accept that I'm feeling sad or angry. It says R-A, then I investigate. And I'm talking about a different kind of investigation that we're used to in the psychological model. I'm not going to investigate what is the origin of this and how long have I felt this way, and have I ever felt this way before, and all that stuff that can go along with that. We're going to investigate what this feels like. And when I bring my attention to it with some curiosity and an investigative point of view, one of the things I'm not going to notice inevitably is it's not solid. It's shifting and changing all the time. My anger dissipates. I can feel it leaving my body. The tension in my throat and my chest relaxes as I accept and look right at it. Where I get more tense is when I don't accept it and I refuse to look at it, which is what I've been trained to do all my life. And then N, R-A-I, recognize, accept, investigate, and the N stands for nurture. Now I'm having this experience, which is an opportunity to practice self compassion, to nurture myself through it, as opposed to judge myself for it, or reject it, or reject some aspect of it. My niece died of COVID a year ago. It's a very hard thing. And it's a very hard thing to walk through. And my first impulse was, I don't want to feel this way. Right? And after some period of time, as we tend to do with grief, we start to think, well, maybe I shouldn't be having this by now. After some weeks goes by. But that's not the model, and that's not helpful, and that's not nurturing. So I needed to accept, even when it was difficult, that I'm having this experience and I'm having this feeling. And as I've often quoted my good friend and fellow writer Jeannie DePro as saying, and so I remind myself as often as I must, which is very often. I have to walk through these experiences, continuously reminding myself that this is what's happening and I can accept it and still be okay, and it's not going to annihilate me, even though it feels like it will, or it might. And then look at it. What is this? Well, with my niece, it was symbolic of how much I loved and cared about her. Now she was gone. So I look at that and what that means. It's not any more complicated than that. I look at how my body is responding to that. I look at the narrative that I attach to that and decide whether that is okay. No, that's the wrong way to put that. Whether decide whether that's what I want. Because our experience is always in two parts, and there's what happens, and there's the narrative attached that we attach to it. And what happens is generally out of our control, but the narrative is something we can control. So 6 or 8 weeks or months into grief, and I still grieve for her. When I start hearing that thing, I shouldn't be feeling this way, I should be over this by now. Accept that too. And no, because I was a grief counselor, I was a therapist for 25 years, I did a lot of grief counseling. Everybody seems to go through this piece of, okay, there's a statute of limitations on our feelings. And there really isn't. I've been around my own process long enough to know that anything can arise from 25 years ago at any moment. Sometimes I know what the trigger is, sometimes I don't. And I will recognize that on a good day and accept it, even though I might forget to do that at first, but I'll come to it eventually. And remind myself as often as I must that this is an acceptable experience, that I'm okay. And then investigate, maybe look at what was the trigger of that. Be okay with it. I may or may not be able to identify that. Notice where it is in my body. And as soon as I come into the physical experience of the real time experience of whatever that is, it starts to fade as soon as I look right at it. This is straight ahead Jungian psychology also, because Jung suggests that when we look right at our shadow selves, it sort of begins to vaporize. And now what I need in those moments where I'm still thinking about things like that, still feeling that, I need the same compassion for myself that I would offer to you. People who've been coming to these sessions for a long time know at some point I'm always pointing towards self-compassion. That's just the message underneath everything that I teach, everything that I do in these sessions. So this is part of that. This is part of being kind and gentle with ourselves. This is part of self-compassion and self-nurturing. The end part of RAIN is to nurture ourselves in a compassionate way. The same way we would nurture a child who came in crying because Bobby said something mean, right? Or my sister hit me, or whatever it is that 4, 5, 6-year-olds do. it takes practice. This is why we call it a practice, like practicing the violin, like practicing the piano, like practicing yoga. And I have to get myself to remember to do it, because before I learned this just a few years ago, I had an entire lifetime of doing it differently. So it's another opportunity to practice just being kind and gentle with myself for whatever my experience is, including when I notice that I have not gone to what I've been teaching. So, whatever experience you're having in this moment, I invite you to recognize that and accept it. If it's pleasant, if it's unpleasant, if it's neutral, if it's nothing, just recognize that and accept it, and look internally at what it is. What does it feel like physically? What is the narrative that I'm attaching to it? Does that narrative enhance my well-being? Does it support my well-being? Does it support my sense of well-being or not? I can change that anytime. And then just be compassionate with yourself. Nurturing. So, to butcher a colloquialism, I invite you to rain on your parade. Thank you all for your kind attention. Any questions or comments? I'm just going to check over here for a second and notice that we are still live on Facebook. It actually worked. And we are still live on YouTube. That actually worked. I recognize, accept, investigate, and nurture the nature of technology that works sometimes. Anybody have any comment or questions? Okay, then. Great to see you all.
Practice.
I'm sorry, Ron, I didn't hear that.
I just want to say thank you for the practice.
Thank you, Ron. Thank you for being here.
You bet.
Alrighty.
Thank you, Ken.
Thank you, Julie. I have to ask you, what is McDaniel?
Oh, that's a college here in Maryland. That's where I'm taking my teaching classes.
Okay. Well, they're lucky to have you.
No, thanks. I'm lucky to have you. I hope to be a teacher too someday.
You'll be great. Go off and teach now. Teach what you know.
Thanks. I should.
Hey, nobody gave Buddha a credential.
That's true.
It's true.
You don't have to wait for the degree, right?
Yeah, well, Thanks, guys. See you next time.